Welcome back. Credit card debt topping $1 trillion, according to the U.S. Federal Reserve. What are the hidden costs associated with using those credit cards? A new creditcards.com analysis of 100 popular cards finds that, on average, customers are susceptible to 6 potential fees that can actually be avoided. Joining us right now to take us behind the curtain is Matt Schultz. He is creditcards.com senior industry analyst. And, Matt, it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We all know that there are all these late fees and tons of fees that we don't know about in the hidden print. Let's start with the late fees. What type of cost is the user looking at here?
Late fees are generally about $37, but the best news is that they're completely avoidable, and chances are, if you haven't had a late fee in a long time, it's your first one, pick up the phone, make a call, ask them to waive it. They're probably going to do it for you.
Oh, really? So you just need to put in the effort to ask them to waive it?
Yeah, it really doesn't take much more than picking up the phone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your analysis is also pointing to fees associated with cash advances. Who takes cash out on their credit cards? Is this a really common thing?
It's a pretty common thing. It was on, I think, 99% of the cards that we looked at. And really, again, they're easy to avoid, especially if you don't use those convenience checks that banks sometimes send you in the mail, and also you don't use your credit card at an ATM. That's just a bad move generally. Because
balance transfers, return payments, that can also be expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And a balance transfer generally, if you have a lot of debt, can be a really good move, but it is important for folks to know that a lot of times it comes with a fee, and that's usually about 3% of that transaction.
Let me ask you about those of us who travel abroad, because there's an extra cost there as well on your credit card.
Yeah, foreign transaction fees are something that used to be on virtually every card out there, but the banks are going so hard after international travelers. Those are the customers that they want, so we've seen those types of fees really reduce, especially over the last few years.
Because what's the fee for? Just that you used your credit card in another country?
Well, some of the currency conversion costs with the banks, so it's covering that, but they've basically eaten that a lot of times.
A lot of consumers neglect to account for their credit card's annual fee. That's something you completely forget about. How prevalent is it?
It's actually not that prevalent, and if you really don't want to pay an annual fee, you probably don't have to, because your average cash back card probably doesn't have one, but if you're a high-end traveler, you're chasing sign-up bonuses, lounge access, that sort of thing, you're probably going to have.
So who's the good and the bad here? Your analysis is looking at which cards have the most fees, the highest fees, and who has the least. Give us the breakdown.
Yeah, the only card that we found that had just one fee was the Pentagon Federal Credit Union Promise Visa card, and the only fee that was there was one associated with old paper statements. So basically, if something's old enough where you can't find it online, they're going to charge you to get it for you.
Wow. Capital One has some good fees. There's just fewer than what you're seeing elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. They had a bunch of them that just have 2 fees, and on all of those, they're just late payment fees and cash advance fees. And again, those are all avoidable if you use your card wisely every day.
And interesting to see that it's like the Delta Airlines card, the Gold card. These are the cards that have the most fees.
Yeah, I mean...
Hilton's reward card.
Yeah, and American Express in particular makes most of their money off of fees, at least compared to other credit card issuers, so it's a little different setup.
Really good stuff. Matt, thanks very much for the breakdown. Appreciate it. Matt Schultz.